Okay, creating a concept. Well, I think this is probably one of my favourite units because creating a concept is all about being creative. It's how you develop an idea, how you come up with a theme, how you make something out of nothing almost. And this is probably an area that a lot of people do struggle with. I know a lot of people think that they're creative, but when it actually comes down to it, they find it quite a difficult thing to do. So what we're going to do in this unit is really try to get you to open your mind. Think about things from different angles. Realise that things aren't all as they seem. Things are never black and white. Sometimes it's a case of really opening your mind and casting the net really, really wide to start filtering those ideas and getting those ideas to come to life. So one of the big things that we're going to look at is brainstorming. And dependent upon whether or not you work for yourself or whether you work for a larger firm, you could be doing brainstorming by yourself or as part of a group. Now, some people find the group brainstorming a little bit more intimidating than others, just purely because it means that they've got to throw their ideas out there and everybody's going to listen to them. But that's the whole point of brainstorming. There is never supposed to be a wrong idea in brainstorming. So no idea is a bad idea in brainstorming. They're just ideas, and that's really all they should be. You shouldn't really look too far into those ideas until you start to filter them through. But we're going to go through that in a lot more detail as we go through this particular unit. And we're going to try and teach you some techniques to help you understand how to brainstorm either on your own or as part of a group. Inspiration really is the key to coming up with a concept. And it's something I've never, as I say, really struggled with. So I really had to think about, how do I do it? What's my process? What do I go through? And I realised that a lot of the time I don't have a particular process. Yes, sure, if it's a new thing that I'm working on and I've got to come up with a completely new concept, then I'm going to do certain things like research, etc., etc. But generally speaking, I find inspiration in everything I look at, everything I do, the people that I see, the places that I go to. So I use my life as inspiration. If I'm reading through a magazine, there might be something that catches my eye that I tear out of that magazine and put within one of my scrapbooks that I may not use for even a year. But it's inspired me in some way, and so therefore I want to collect it and keep hold of it so that maybe I can use it for some creativity enhancement, some inspiration later on. So where do I go when I'm trying to be creative? Well, I've always had this thing that driving has always inspired me. I don't know what it is about driving. Maybe it's the fact that I can switch off to a degree, obviously, because I don't want to crash my car. But it allows me to switch off. It allows my mind to basically wander. And of course, as you're driving along, you see lots of different things. So I've taken to having a dictaphone in my glove compartment because obviously I can't write my ideas down when I'm driving, but I can talk. And yes, I've got over that whole I'm embarrassed to be looking as though I'm talking to myself scenario whilst I'm driving along, and my dictaphone has become my best friend. I basically keep my dictaphone in my car, usually for 2 or 3 weeks. Then at the end of that period, I pull it out and take off all those little pearls of wisdom, all those little gems that I came across as I was driving. And you'll be surprised about how many ideas I came up with, but had actually forgotten all about, just when I was driving along. I also use it if I am working on a new concept and I've got stuck, for whatever reason it might be. The inspiration is just not flowing, it's not working. If I go for a long drive, 9 times out of 10, I no longer have writer's block or thinker's block or whatever you want to call it. I've unleashed some beast and it's all come together. The other place that I tend to find works for me is the shower. Not actually quite sure why, but some of my best ideas have come out of the shower. It may be something to do with the running water, I'm really not quite sure. But my point is everybody has a creative place, and that's what you need to do. To get creative, a lot of the time you need to go to that creative place. It's just a case of finding it. Naturally, yes, we're all creative with a glass of red wine in our hands and some mood lighting, some great music, and maybe a whiteboard in front of us that we can jump up and scribble on every now and again. But we are all different. And this particular unit is going to look about all of those things. There are some key elements that you can look at to inspire your creativity. Some of them are things like do something different. Do something you have never done before. That will quite often inspire creativity. Talk to people that you've never spoken to before. Try and think about what their life is like. Think about things from their point of view. Imagine them at home and try and imagine what their life would be like. What you're doing there is you're sparking your creativity. Write your life story. Not in a full book, I mean sort of in a few paragraphs. Imagine that you had to make your life sound good enough as a brief for a Hollywood film. See what you come up with. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to spark your creativity. Things like asking what-if questions. What if walls could talk? What would they say? How would they respond? What type of secrets would they have? You need to start questioning things. It's the only way you're going to spark your creativity. But as I say, that's what this unit is all about. So for those of you that get stuck with this type of thing, for those of you that find you don't have that creative spark, and it doesn't matter how long you sit there or how many glasses of red wine you drink, you're still not creative. Well, I'm hoping that by the end of this unit, we will at least have put you on the road to creativity. Even if we haven't cured you completely, we'll have at least given you some ideas and some different things that you can do to really help yourself start to become creative. So good luck, and once again, see you on the other side.